He's a big Chungus. He's a big chunky boy.
Thank you. So welcome everybody to our third installment of Chungus Coin BSC AMA. We're working on a lot of cool stuff in the backside. Unfortunately, my dog just started whining for dinner, so I'm going to do introduction and then pass it off to others, or he's going to start to bark. I apologize. You can probably hear him. Working on some big stuff. I know it's been a real rough week in the market for you guys. We truly appreciate all, your efforts on, see, there's the dog, on behalf of introducing Chungus to as many people as you can. And also you guys who are holding with us. Granted, how the markets look the last couple of days, I think we've held our own really well. And we're going to be making some moves here that are going to keep us on the front page. Polygon, I'm going to kick it over to you for 1 second.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah.
Hey guys. So this is Polygon. I'm gonna keep it a little bit shorter this time. Last AMA. Hey, could someone move that Carlito or getting some feedback? DDD, I think. If you could mute for a sec. Thanks. So last AMA, we really rolled through a lot of our plans. I think this time we're going to hear from a few more team members, keep it a little bit shorter so that we can focus on your guys' questions and not make you wait, half hour to get to that part. So I can go ahead and I think Christopher was going to give an update on.
I'm back.
Hey,
ready.
Are you back? Okay. If I didn't cover anything, if you want, do you want to talk about staking?
Sure thing. So guys, we have two parties that technically we could do staking with. One of them very well known, the guys over at Rocket Bunny. Polygon and I have been having some meetings. And we're going to revise the route we're going to go with that. Some of it comes down to the math. As you guys know, our token boasts a 10% tax, 7% of which goes to building our base liquidity, and 3% which is returned to holders as a reflectionary reward. While these are awesome tokenomics for a lot of things, it's great price protection, it's great rewards for holders. Ultimately, what that means is any true staking, and I'm going to say that because we got a plan B. It means that any true staking, you're doing 10% in, 10% out. So you would end up having to pay 19% of your BCC, aside from whatever APY a given pool is offering. So we've been thinking, we've actually come up with some better solutions to provide some bonuses and incentives to holders and liquidity providers. That's going to work out better than staking. So it's not that we can't circle back to that, but I hope you guys understand it was with the best of intentions. But when we're really doing the math, a typical staking partnership just isn't going to shake out as well. So here's what we've come up with. As you guys know, we're working on a few big things. We've got a ton of applications out to various listing sites. We are beginning, the very beginning stages framework of figuring out our NFTs, featuring some machine learning techniques. And largely, Polygon has been devoting a lot of his time to coding Chungus Finance. So our goal in the general setup is that Chungus Finance will actually provide our holders with some bonus material, some BNB. So our plan is that, much like some other BSC tools, you would have to hold a certain amount of BCC token in your wallet to have full access to Chungus Finance. From there, we are planning to offer ads, and then the ad revenue will be split in a variable percentage, which we do need to work out the math on that, guys. And it is going to need to be flexible to optimize. But the math is going to work that any of that ad revenue we get is going to kick back as a percentage to the marketing wallet to fund ongoing endeavors. a percentage bonus to liquidity providers to encourage some general holders who also have some spare BNB. Who's got that, right? Thanks to Chungus, because we got to buy that dip. We give them a bonus and also an additional bonus to the holders in the terms of BNB instead of a reflectionary reward in BCC. So that's pretty exciting and something we look forward to. And
a couple more
work out better.
Oh, sorry. A couple more details on that too. First, so we already have auto staking, right? So you get the 3% reward from volume currently, and this is something that we were kind of thinking about before. But like first said, just that round trip cost is fairly high. I mean, there are tokens that do that, right? With PooCoin, I think it's maybe 8%. So you're looking at a 16% round trip cost. But you need to hold their token PooCoin to use some of their premium features or for marketing partnerships. So there's typically, when you look at it, there's a little bit more of an incentive to do that, to justify that high cost. Whereas if we look, with staking, you always have to calculate how long you're planning to stake. So the higher the fees on the round trip, you can still make money with that, but you might have to hold a little bit longer. So that is kind of what, when we evaluated it, we ended up realizing maybe we stick with our other plan, which we've kind of had in mind for a little while since we started. We decided to go forward with Chungus Finance, and so like first said, it's going to be a mixture, a revenue splitting model. So essentially, right now, if you are a Chungus coin holder, you are like a shareholder of. I have to probably watch my language here because of I don't know, SEC regulation. But essentially, you're a partial owner, and you will be receiving a share of revenue proportional to what you hold in Chungus coin. And so then the other aspect of that, like I mentioned, is liquidity provider, because adding more liquidity to the liquidity pool helps promote price stability. And so we also plan to have rewards to the liquidity providers, to the contributors to the liquidity pool. So, also basically staking. And that will have to be a little bit higher because you're putting up your BNB as well than the Chungus coin holders. So in this analogy, that would be more like holders of bonds from a company. That's people who are issuing debt. So you have the equity holders of Chungus coin, you have the lenders who are providing liquidity. And then the final part of that is some percentage would go towards marketing. And in that case, with the company analogy, you are directly benefiting from that because the marketing spend increases outreach, it increases holders, and it drives price appreciation. And that can be variable as well, right? So, while we're still small, like we are now, it may make sense to spend more on marketing and grow. Whereas when we reach more maturity, you've held your Chungus coin and suddenly you have something that's going for a lot higher because of the market rate, because it's actually generating revenue. And it might make sense to spend less on marketing at that point because, we're more like a more mature company in the growth model. So yeah, just a few more details and I'll hand it back over to Christopher. Sorry for jumping in.
No worries, man. No worries. I was going to dig into that, but you did an even better job than I could have. So thank you, sincerely. So on Chungus Finance, again, we definitely feel it's a better solution long-term because you'll get the intrinsic benefits of Chungus Finance, whether for a set amount of time, as long as it exists. Whereas staking, there'd be very finite constraints where it would be profitable. So this is going to work out great. We are going to work on churning out our very, very first rudimentary tools and betas in the next few days. Target date Sunday. Polygon, please chime in if that's still not on target.
Yeah, so our target is end of day Sunday. And this likely for this beta, I'm guessing it'll be a single tool, but we already have worked on some of the UI. So I think it's going to look nicer than PooCoin, for example, and it'll be simpler. Like I think I mentioned in the chat, this is agile, it's iterative. So we basically, as we have new features, we're going to be adding them and pushing them. So we hope to have a steady stream of features released. And for anyone not familiar with, software development, this stuff does take time. So, what you see, keep your your expectations in check. I mean, we're definitely really excited about it, and I think that eventually it's gonna have some really, like, a full suite of really awesome tools and capability. But of course, that will take some time to get there. But I think that we'll have something cool for you guys to check out in a couple of days. So I'm excited about that.
So the primary focus of the next few weeks is going to be Chungus tools and finding support for that, and of course the typical marketing and Reddit outreaches on a longer term plan. Not forgotten. I know there's a few guys in here who really want to see some results on the NFT end of things, and we absolutely also want to do that. Though we do have some physical constraints and research needs to be furthered. We want to give you guys a good product. We want to give you guys some cool stuff that people actually want. We're not just going to mint random crap, right? So we're in talks with artists, Taco in particular. There's hardware constraints to teaching the ML process as it learns. There's really a lot going on, but our target is to try to make things move in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Realistically, probably closer to 6, though admittedly, this end of things is more Taco's expertise. So I'd like to turn the mic over to him for a minute so he can give you his thoughts on that.
Yeah, thanks, Crip. Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that was said. The training process is both power and sort of compute intensive. So it's not unlike mining cryptocurrency in some ways. There is a specific class of models that is kind of the state of the art for this, and that's what I want us to try, both be out of personal interest, and I think it will lead to the highest quality NFT product for all of us. So instead of kind of taking a swing at the lowest hanging fruit that is ultimately gonna just kind of be a stepping stone that is a dead end, I should say, we're kind of focused on getting both the training process and the scaling process right. So like minting these and generating these is not sort of realistic and like for one person's hardware to scale up. So different parts of this also need to be sort of prepared for cloud computing. Yeah, so I won't nerd out too hard. I know not everyone here is a huge computer geek, but I just wanted to say a little bit about it.
One comment too, I'm going to jump in on it on the timeline, just so everyone knows, right? Like we emphasize, we are working on this, right? So research and time is being invested into this on a constant basis. Like we said, the Chungus Finance is a little bit shorter timeline. This is something we can get out a little bit faster, and we can iterate on it. With the NFTs, it takes a little bit longer. There's more steps, right? And so another thing is, further developing partnerships with artists for, we have some seeds for the NFTs, but we need more. And we also need some polishing at the end of the process. So these are things that we're also looking into right now, and it's a sequential process. So anyone in tech knows the phrase, if you get 9 mothers together, they don't give birth in 1 month. It still takes 9 months. So, with Taka, we are using his expertise on Chungus Finance, or I should say we will be, for some of the ML and analysis. So in that regard, we will be using some resources, on this that will add a little bit of lead time to the NFTs. But it's a process that has to go through certain steps anyway. So it's not like we're saying it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks because we're not prioritizing it. That's just kind of how long it takes. And if you look at a lot of projects, that offer NFTs, they might have a few, they might have come out with a few of them, or they design them one off and work on those. But typically, they also have a similar time frame, or it might be Q2 of the second quarter of the project.